Good morning, friends. We got a bunch of news updates, especially concerning court cases and the battle to stop the Trump administration from enacting its policies. We also have some international issues out there. We got the Supreme Court ruling to block the state of Florida from arresting people who break the law. We got a lower court openly defying the Supreme Court. We're going to talk about that. We got U.S. airstrikes in Iran apparently did not completely destroy the nuclear program. Steve, where are you hearing that from? Israel. So that's kind of awkward. We got President Trump slamming Brazil with big tariffs for political prosecution of opponents. And on a similar note, Germany banning members of the second largest party inside their country from government positions, including police jobs and teacher jobs. We got that, plus a whole lot of reports coming from you guys from all over. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates. If you have something to share with the audience, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place. If you put a comment down that you think should have gotten more attention, that maybe was missed or something like that, just do it again because we do pull those things every day. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people who have retirement accounts to stop being invested in stocks and start investing in gold, silver, and platinum. They are also giving out free books that are related to investing in gold or precious metals. So if you want to get some of that information, there'll be a link at the end of the video to ask some questions, to get some information, and you can make a decision on what you want to do with your retirement account from there. All right, Bitcoin has hit an all-time high. The S&P 500 has hit an all-time high, and NASDAQ has hit an all-time high. The U.S. dollar, at the same time, is down 10.6% in the last 6 months. So is the stock market going up, or is the U.S. dollar coming down? That's a viable question there. But moving on here, we got Israel has quietly released a report stating some of Iran's enriched uranium was not destroyed in the U.S. airstrikes and is, to quote the report, accessible to Iranian engineers. Now, you got to understand here, President Trump went out and said it was completely, absolutely destroyed. Israel begged the United States to participate in this airstrike because Israel didn't have the hardware to actually pull this off. So they begged and pleaded. And when President Trump said yes and went in and did it, they were not about to badmouth him whatsoever. And so the Prime Minister and everyone else came out and said, yes, what the President said was true, completely destroyed, utterly obliterated, but they're all kind of whispering under their breath like, maybe not. Well, here we are a month later, and here comes the report like, maybe it's not completely done. Maybe there's enough enriched uranium that is going to be recovered or was potentially moved before the airstrike for them to actually build nuclear weapons from. So we're gonna see them probably start sliding out some more information, little bits and pieces, as they slowly discover the truth that what they said earlier was not quite true. Kind of what I said right after the airstrike. Anyway, let's move over to the U.S., where we got the U.S. Supreme Court blocking the state of Florida. Florida just passed a law saying basically people who are unpapered cannot come into the state and they cannot remain in the state. So if they're already in the state, they have to leave. Or else it's a criminal offense. They can be arrested for this. The Supreme Court says, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't arrest people for doing illegal things. Like, that's off the table. So, hat tip to you guys in the Supreme Court for making the most ridiculous ruling of the year. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So it's illegal to arrest people who have done crimes. Yikes. All right. I guess their point is that states can't arrest people for doing something that the federal government has outlawed, even if the state passes makes the same thing illegal. It's bad ruling, bad ruling. Another lower court has decided to openly defy the Supreme Court. Supreme Court just recently ruled that basically that nationwide injunctions are not appropriate and are an abuse of power, and courts can't do that, especially related to this case of birthright citizenship. So what does the next lower court do? Well, a Soros-funded lawyer campaign went before their hand-picked judge and got the judge to put a nationwide injunction, class action lawsuit ruling. So basically, a judge not allowed to do a nationwide injunction against stripping people of their birthright citizenship, but instead, what they want to do is they're going to say everybody that could lose their citizenship is part of one big class action lawsuit that they never signed up for. And so therefore, because they are the plaintiffs in this case, we can give them it's like injunction with a ruse. Or, as I think pretty much anyone will see it as, they're just basically openly defying the Supreme Court. Yeah. All right. Now, just for those of you who are kind of wondering about birthright citizenship. So, if one of your parents is a U.S. citizen, you're not dependent upon the birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship applies to people who both their parents are not U.S. citizens, but you happen to be born within the United States. And President Trump is specifically targeting those who were, both their parents did not have permission to be in the United States, that those people shouldn't have it. So everyone out there like saying, oh, well, that means so many people are going to lose. No, it doesn't. It means that people who are born to people that weren't supposed to be here aren't supposed to be here. People who overstay their visa intentionally in order to have a child here in the United States, that's not legal unless they can certify that one of their parents is a U.S. citizen. Anyway, that seems pretty reasonable. Of course, we are in the world and age of ill reason, irrationality, all that. Speaking of that, moving down to Brazil. President Trump has slapped Brazil with a 50% tariff. And why is that? Because of their political witch hunt on Jair Bolsonaro, I think it is. Basically, people called him the Trump of Brazil. And he has been politically prosecuted. Basically, everything they try to do to Trump, they did to him, including trying to kill him. So it's a very, very similar paradigm. They tried to kill him but failed. And in addition to that, they've stripped him of the ability to run for governmental positions for a whole bunch of years because of trumped up charges. Trumped up, get it? See what I did there? Anyway, because of that, that's why the tariff rate on Brazil is going to be 50%. Now, Brazil immediately hit back. The very leftist president of Brazil basically saying, well, then we're going to hit the United States with a reciprocal 50% tariff. Now, maybe he should go ask China how that went for them, because I think we're going to be seeing tariff rates on Brazil go through the 100% mark very quickly. If he hits them with the 50% reciprocal tariff, Trump will probably take it up to 100% or more. Just saying. And I'm not the only one saying that. The Brazilian currency, the real, has fallen more than 2% in just a day. Because, they kind of see where that's going. The standing toe-to-toe with President Trump is probably not going to work when President Trump helms the largest economy in the world, and Brazil is, well, let's just say, not the largest economy in the world. In a similar vein, moving over to Germany, one of the states in Germany, so basically not the federal government, but like one of the states, has banned all members of the popular political party, the second most popular political party in the nation, banned them from any government position, including school teacher, university professor, police officer, all that. Sounds like something they did back in the 1930s, doesn't it? Sounds an awful lot like something they did in the 1930s. And I don't know if this is okay, if leftists are allowed to do this. Maybe what we need to do is we just need to join them. Maybe President Trump just needs to order that no leftists are allowed to serve as school teachers. I think that might actually be a pretty good thing. Now, how do they do this here? How did they actually implement this? Well, first thing they did was they identified that political party as an extremist group, which at first didn't seem to have any teeth to it, except that they started using their equivalent of the CIA to start spying on the political leaders. So the political party in power decided to start using the intelligence services and the military intelligence services to spy on their political opponents, because that's okay apparently. And then using that definition of extremists, that's what they used to justify blocking all members of that party from state offices in one of the states. And we will see if other states in Germany follow suit and do the same thing. But you can see how dark of a turn that is. History doesn't repeat itself, but it sure as heck rhymes, doesn't it? Next, we're going to see Japan go off the handle. Actually, China's kind of afraid of that. China is afraid of Japan going off the handle because Japan has started rearming for war. And that's made China a little nervous because they didn't like it the last time Japan did that. Anyway, VN says, just left Walmart in Silver Valley, Idaho. Very little produce here. Coffee exploded in price, $20 for Folgers. 3-pound GV is $18, but they don't even have any 3-pound cans left. Axe Chisel says, Northwest Ohio. Walmart was completely out of flour. There's normally a good amount at this location due to the local Amish population. I don't recall ever seeing the flour this empty here before. Very little applesauce, no cherries, and few berries in general. We've been seeing that across the board. Berries and fruit, fresh fruit is disappearing. Also low on pasta. Tomato options were still limited, and most available was below average. Potatoes getting more expensive. $2 increase for a 5-pound sack, up to $6.48. There's a noticeable reduction in selection within the aisles of the store, even though it's been remodeled and reset. Ken says, Northeast Tennessee, canned fruit prices are jumping. Fruit cocktail, $2 a week ago. Yesterday was $2.69 in the deli area. Many prepared salads are no longer available. Kimberly says, West Valley near Phoenix, Arizona. Cocoa powder is in the baking section, not with the chocolate milk mix, and it's getting expensive. We don't have any GV applesauce either, and canned fruits are outrageous at $2.25 per can for generics. So we're seeing that there too. Barbara Ann says, Western North Carolina this week got the last bag of whole carrots. They had baby carrots, but not the big ones. They were all out of all the rice larger than 2-pound bags. No beets either in the produce section. Leslie says, my Dollar Tree here in Southwest Ohio has no Libby's canned fruit for the past 2 weeks. No canned fruit. Empty shelves filled with cardboard boxes instead. Poppy Trains says, I train in Kentucky, Ohio, and West Virginia. I have just seen my first honeybee this year, and that was in southern Ohio. I just got back home a few minutes ago from Kentucky. I was in a church parking lot. There is white clover in front of the building and behind the building. No honeybees or butterflies, even though it's got all that clover. Becca says, we live in Indiana, next to wetlands, and we have no frogs or tree crickets. Only sweat bees and bumblebees. Lots of flies, but no rain. Jenny says, on chicks that are dying and feed that has changed colors, swap it to a different feed, one that is not medicated. Our feed sometimes changes to a grayer color when it starts to mold. So there's a thought there too. You will lose birds sometimes if you feed them moldy food. I've done it without realizing it until the bird was gone. It wasn't moldy when it was in the until it went into the feeder, but it got very wet and the feeder didn't need refilling for a while. So that can contribute to the mold issue in the feed. So make sure you keep your chicken feed dry or swap it out often. This is from a poultry farmer and rancher. Madam K says, Great Value beans dated 2/27 had a piece of rust come off in the can. I could see on the seam where the rusty piece of the can came off. I needed to rinse the beans as I didn't need my soup to be thick. That's when I saw it, a big piece of rust. I threw the beans away. My yard is full of birds. I normally do not fill the feeders in the summer, but this year I did, and I have so many birds. Chipmunks, gnats, flies, mosquitoes that have shown up in thick force, but this year I did not have as many birds. Sorry. Seems that they came late this year. KL says, here in Jefferson and Clearfield counties, northwest Pennsylvania, sweet potatoes are hard to find, and watermelons are getting scarce. No bees here either. Angela, in Spokane Valley, Washington. My mom was out grocery shopping. Costco was very low on drinks, water, juice, etc. Sick, and Walmart was missing items. There is an arsonist running around in Spokane. 6 fires so far. Could be the reason goods are missing, but where I live in upper eastern Washington, we unfortunately were under red flag warnings. Conditions were at the point that the power company could have shut off the power. A fire did start further north from me. Wind was so bad that it is growing 1,000 acres an hour. Last I seen it, it was 3,200 acres. I was prepared for no power. I am preparing to donate to evacuees. By the way, we do have bees here, just not as many. Not so many aphids this year either. I usually have a problem with them. Gene says, here I was at Food Lion in southern middle Tennessee today and looked at the bananas. No green ones. All were overripe. The corner lot says, wow, your shelves look really low compared to here in Northwest Indiana. Those look like the C19 days. I'm really surprised. I shop mostly at Meijer and about every other week. They are out of blueberries. When they do have them, they are very small and tart, almost sour. I have also had trouble finding Vlasic dill pickle spears at Meijer and Walmart as well. It's canning season, so it figures that vinegar is in short supply. Plus, more people use it to clean with these days. Yeah, I can maybe go with the cleaning thing, but it's funny how everyone says it's canning season. I hear that like at the beginning of spring, and I hear that all summer long, and I hear it all the way through the fall, and to like people are saying in December. And it's just like, well, if that's true, well then when isn't it canning season? And shouldn't they have it stocked up? I don't know. David says, Texas, near the Panhandle. I can't believe it, but it's here. In Walmart today, it was such an eerie feeling. There were at least 40 workers changing everything in the aisles. The cereal had been moved across from the candy. The aisles are about 8 feet wide now. This is the remodels that they're coming out with. Less shelves, less products, bigger aisles. They were scrambling to cover up the shortages, but now it is so obvious. Really makes me wonder what all is missing, but I know it's a lot. you seriously could feel it in the air that something was wrong. The employees seemed stressed, and I just can't explain it. But it just didn't feel right, almost like a silent alarm going off. Fortunately, I have an eye for what they're pulling this kind of stuff, for when they're pulling this kind of stuff. But today, it was an alarming feeling that I just can't describe. I think it's time we seriously buckle up and get ready. All right, friends, that's the report for today. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, or you want to get some of their free information, there's a link right there. Just tap on the screen there. They'll get in contact with you and just let them know that you'd like to check out some of their ebooks about gold or investing, or you have some questions, and they'll answer those for you. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.